the one and only Stacey Pickering, Executive Director, Veterans Affairs. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Paul.
Boy, I hadn't seen you in a while.
Man, it has been. Good to be back in the studio with you.
Lots of things going on?
Lots of things. Been a busy year, and then you throw a little COVID in the middle of it, and a couple of tornadoes, and heck, we got spring in Mississippi.
A couple of riots here and there, everything else going on. So you enjoying the position there?
You know, having a ball, really am. It's a great mission. Coming up on my second anniversary.
That's
you
right.
know, you get to take care of our vets, our men and women out there that have served our country, those student veterans that are at the universities and colleges, all the way to those that are living in our nursing homes dealing with end-of-life issues. It is a truly just wonderful job. They go to work every day.
You drop me off, and since we have TV here,
that's right.
You drop me off the magazine there, and that's a nice that's a nice one. It's called Mississippi Salute. And tell me a little bit about that.
Well, you know, that's our inaugural issue. We've over years we've published a little benefits booklet for our veterans and their families to take a look at, you know, what benefits they're entitled to, how and where to contact, but it was really just a textbook. And so we thought, look, let's tell our story. Let's get pictures of wreaths across America where we have several hundred folks show up at our cemetery in Newton and at Kilmichael and lay wreaths at Christmas, our veterans' homes. Let's tell the stories of our vets who lived there. Our profile in here is Bill Strickland up at the Oxford home. World War II vet. He was in Belgium and Germany. You know, great stories that he's got to tell, and it's just phenomenal stories. His little wife, Kitty, comes and sees him prior to the COVID, and they would sit on the sofa, hold hands. You know, just a great man who's lived a great life, served our country, raised his family, and so we get to tell his story in there as well.
You got to wonder how many of these vets we've lost during this pandemic.
Well, we've lost a lot, you know, especially our World War II and Korea generation. This virus is very tough on them. They're already at a fragile point because of health. We've lost already 13 in our home in Kosciuszko. The virus got in there and, you know, really impacted a lot of them. But 3 of our facilities in Collins, Jackson, and Oxford remain COVID-free. Our staff there,
right?
Yeah, we're really proud of the job they're doing. You know, it can get in so easily.
From day one?
From day one. Not a single veteran in those 3 homes has had the virus.
Where are those? Can you mention them? Where they
Collins, Jackson, and Oxford.
You got to wonder why.
Well, you know, we started when we had the first diagnosis down in Hattiesburg, the first case in Mississippi. We closed the homes, communicated with the families that, you know, employees only at this point. We had to reduce the risk and mitigate that risk coming in. We started ordering PPE. We don't carry a lot of in nursing homes, you know, the isolation gowns, masks, face shields. And so we started ordering. We even had to manufacture some because at that time, early in the pandemic, you know, you couldn't buy N95 mask and the isolation gown. So we found a costume company here in Jackson who does Mardi Gras and theater costumes, and they made 1960-era surgical gowns for us that we could wear in and wash. Face mask, Blue Delta jeans up in Tupelo made our first round of face masks for us and cloth. And so we were able to stockpile and work those relationships even nationally with our vendors. And so early on, we could put the PPE in place to protect them.
How did you mitigate the visiting? Nobody's been able to visit since?
Unfortunately, we haven't. But what we've done, we started off with Facebook. We bought a bunch of iPads, put in the homes, and so family members could schedule a time that they could Facebook and talk to Dad and visit. Because 95% of our population are male. You know, they're veterans who served in Korea, Vietnam, World War II.
Using Zoom, too?
We're using Zoom, and then we started in-face visits. The way our homes are built, we have a front porch, big glass area, so we call it the front porch visits. And again, families can call, schedule a time, and they're visiting through the window. And we're looking what the next phase, so we can get them in the home. We've got a couple of rooms that we can actually still have separation, but we're trying to figure out. We understand now this is going to be until we get a vaccine, this will be a long-term solution. So we're trying to figure out what in-person visits look like. When can we get mom and dad, children and their fathers reunited where they can touch each other, hug each other, because it's been a long time already.
It has been, and but thank God they're still there. I mean, we don't have a problem with that because every time we get one of these COVID reports out, you see where long-term living facilities are the most vulnerable.
And it really is. It's ground zero because they're in that long-term nursing care facility for a reason, because their health is already compromised. And this virus is so contagious, it just really impacts them. But one of the neat stories up in Kosciuszko, when the virus got in our home through a patient or one of our residents has to go out for a medical procedure 2 or 3 times a week. He came back in, and that's how we believe the virus came back in with him and the nurse that was with him. But we had a 99-year-old veteran on that floor who contracted the virus, and we get a report every day. We go through them resident by resident, how they're doing, what their status is with the doctor, with our nursing staff, and the administrator there. And when I opened up the email that day and read that spreadsheet on the notes section, It gave me that resident's name, 99 years old, kicked COVID's butt. And, I was really proud to see,
How about that?
So it affects different people different ways, but we've had some great success stories, but we've also had grieved and had some of the tragedies that going through this.
Well, but the major thing is, how do you keep the staff, the doctors, the nurses, all the caretakers, how do you keep them free of this coming back and forth? It's very, very difficult. Are they taking a hydroxy or anything like that?
Yeah, we've worked with the VA Medical Center here in Jackson. They've been our great partner. They sent nursing staff in, but our own medical director and Dr. Forks we prescribed the hydroxychloroquine early. They've used that as well as some.
The staff has.
The staff, we've done some prophylactic use with that as far as trying to prevent, but also to treat those that contracted the disease. So,
has anybody had any ill effects from that?
None whatsoever. We've been tracking that with the medical staff, like I said, the VA Medical Center, Department of Health. Dr. Dobbs and I talk almost daily now. We were talking daily at the height of all this. Greg Michelle out at MEMA, they've been good partners with us, making sure that we've got the PPE, we've got the resources, got the most current data and updates. So
if the president wouldn't have said anything about that, it would have been a whole new ballgame.
It would have. He says the sky's blue, and they want to argue it's purple.
Well, and then of course the WHO, the World Health Organization, is under fire now because they got this controversy that they had to backtrack on as far as
they're the ones right out of the gate that were telling us it's not a big deal. They were definitely in China's back pocket. You can't serve two masters. I think the Bible tells us that, and we've seen through this pandemic several organizations, whether it's World Health Organization or others, who are trying to serve two masters, and it does not work. We need honesty, we need transparency, and that's one reason when we had the COVID outbreak in our home, we put out a press release after calling the families. We let everybody know this is what's happening, this is what we're doing, and that's what our veterans and their families deserve.
If you got any special events coming up or anything?
We just, because Memorial Day, we had to do a video. Yeah. Of course, we did some radio spots to recognize the sacrifice of those men and women who did give it all, to remind everybody what Memorial Day is. But we're already working, we're hosting the National State Veterans Home Convention on the Gulf Coast, a big trade show nationally. We were able to bring that to Mississippi, and so we were actually on the coast this week starting to lay groundwork for next summer. And then we've got our own program. September, we'll do suicide prevention workshops. Last year we had 75 clergy attended on military bases, from Naval Air Station Meridian to the Guard Base here in Jackson, Keesler. We'll be at the Seabees base on the coast, and we'll hopefully go to Columbus this year and help train our pastors how to care for veterans and the Guard and Reserve that are in their churches that may be struggling. Know what resources are available to them, because that's really a front line out there.
How many centers do we have in the state?
As a medical centers or
with the VA centers?
The VA medical centers, we've got 3 of those in Mississippi. That's counting Memphis, that serves from Highway 82 north. You have GV Sonny Montgomery here in Jackson, and then the Gulf Coast. Yeah. Those are federal hospitals. I have 4 nursing homes that the state runs and owns in Oxford, Kosciuszko, Jackson, and Collins. And we did our groundbreaking in November, and we will start moving dirt later this year, early next year, to build one on the coast at Tradition. That'll be a 100-bed facility, because they're driving 2 hours to get to Collins, their families to come visit. We need to put a home closer to them.
The total number of residents we have, you get that number?
187,000 veterans in Mississippi.
Is that how many's in there?
$1.9 billion in pension and benefits alone. Big economic driver.
People want more information. Here's the website.
msva.ms.gov.
Doing a good job, sir. Appreciate it very much.
Hey,
good
Paul,
to see you.
Good to be with you.